Hi, hello, this is Jules the Human here, and welcome to the Jules the Anime Hour. I'm one of your hosts, Jules the Human, and every week we go out into the world and watch a little bit of anime, and then we come back here and talk about it. And today is the second time we're going to be talking about Bungo Stray Dogs. We did it before Thanksgiving, and we're coming back to it. We're going to be talking about episode 5 through 8 of Bungo Stray Dogs. We have so many anime to get to. We just added quite a few of them. One is Matt's pick, one is my pick, but then some from the community. So we have Shangri-La, which is fairly new, Delicious in Dungeon, Cyberpunk Edge Runners, Demon Lord 2099, Vinland Saga, and Chrono Crusade. So all of these have been added. So after we're done with Bungo Stray Dogs, we're going to continue on and pick a random anime here, and then they get put on our list. So we rank the anime that we watch a full season or so, and we have so many S's, a lot of A's, and Bungo Stray Dogs is going to be up here next week when we finish the season. But I don't go on these anime journeys alone. I go with my co-host Matt Galley. Matt, how was your week, and how was your Thanksgiving?
My week was really good. My Thanksgiving was really nice, all things considered. Bit stressful with stuff that happened at work.
Oh no.
It's all good,
Did you have to work on
That's,
Thanksgiving? Do y'all open?
no.
Okay.
We
That's
weren't
what I
open
thought.
or anything like that. But just things that happen sometimes can be quite a handful when they happen unexpectedly. But it was good, all things considered. How was your Thanksgiving? You took a trip
Yeah, we
out,
went to
went on a little vacay.
we went to Ohio. It was really cold. It was pretty fun. Ate some good food. Saw snow, kind of, not really, but I walked in it. It was super cold. It was a lot of fun. So had a dope time. And we're back here watching some anime. And right off the bat, Bungo Stray Dogs. I feel like after last episode with Bungo Stray Dogs, I wasn't super sold on it just yet because of the things we said in last episode, but man, did it change around. I don't know if it was like the break of me just not watching anime, but I'm more sold on it than I was last week. I don't know how you're feeling overall, and like this is okay, or like if you share that it changed. Like these 4 episodes, I was like, what was this? It felt like a completely different
felt
show.
impactful. These 4 episodes kind of were able to deliver some more impact than the first 4 did. The silliness felt like it finally started to take a back seat to the character writing, and it feels like that we've come to a point where the characters are able to start to showcase more of what's going to make them lovable and make them
Mm-hmm.
interesting to keep track of with anything else that they have to deal with as the series moves forward. Atsushi actually begins to kind of begin to get a little bit of character because he starts off as just this, like, the fish out of water, so that way we have a reason as the audience to get explained why everything's going on, how it's going on. But then he also becomes the kind of MacGuffin with the tiger aspect where, like, oh, everybody wants the tiger. Why is that? And we begin to see some of the reasons why the tiger may be desirable in the later
He,
episodes here after
yeah,
the first few.
he would not shut up about where he came from in the first 4 episodes of the anime. He was like, he finally stopped. He finally was like, all right, we're done. He would not shut up about how whatever the orphanage and all that. It was like 4 times at least every episode, and now they only did it once in like the episode 7
And it was
maybe.
during a really good character moment
Yeah.
where it was actually relevant and not just
Mm-hmm.
kind of like coming up just because.
So I gotta say, right off the bat, I'm liking these 4 episodes better than I did like the last 4 episodes that we talked about last week. But let's get into it. Bungo Stray Dogs, episode 5, Murder on D Street. What happens in episode 5?
In episode 5, Atsushi is brought along with Rampo, the armed detective agency's ace in the hole. He's sent to investigate a murder that took place in the city, and the police investigators on site are quick to dismiss Rampo. Dazai happens to show up as well, and with the police denying the ability of Rampo, he is put to the test. Donning his glasses to activate his super detective power, he's able to deduce the suspect, where the evidence is, and how to make his suspect confess, with it turning out to be the deputy lieutenant on site. Things are not as they seem, as it is discovered the initial bullet was not intended for the victim, and the deputy was attempting to leverage their using their own life. Dazai reveals to Atsushi that Rampo is the only detective in the agency without a true power, and he is actually just an expert deducer. Dazai explaining to Atsushi how Rampo was able to get to the conclusions that he was, and including the fact that the suspect and the victim were dating.
Sad day for all.
The twists and turns.
So we've seen Rambo before, but we know all of their abilities with that big, like, here's this character and their ability. Here's this character. Here's the agency here. We don't really dive into Rambo or any of the other ones really. But they tell at the beginning that he has ultra deduction, kind of a reminder for everybody. And everybody's fucking glazing this dude. They're all like, yo, this guy.
This is the guy. If he wasn't here, we wouldn't be here.
It's like, what does everybody else
exist? The agency would not exist.
What does everybody else do? Why don't you just put Rampo on everything? Just put this one person agency. But it was crazy. So we get this. I don't know how much in depth we want to get to, like the actual case of it, but he's on this case, and it's sort of like a Sherlock Holmes sort of thing, where they're actually trying to deduce a killer, and we're getting like facts little by little, and it's leading us down this road. And I do like mysteries. Like, I'm a fan of mysteries. I think the last mystery I saw, which I really liked, was the Glass Onion, the Knives Out movie, the second one. Have you seen any of the Glass Onion?
I haven't seen those still.
They're really good. Honestly, I was like,
I mean, one of my favorite movies of all time is the Clue movie for that reason. It's just like it's just a quintessential whodunit story with a little bit of comedy in there. Yeah,
the whodunit story.
Yeah, so I definitely agree. Where like it's just very fascinating to see the clues unfold little by little, see how the characters are able to use that information to come to conclusions where you, the audience, are also trying to, like, it's somebody there, right? Mm-hmm. They take you to the crime scene. It's like, oh, this was my colleague. And I'm like, somebody there did it immediately. I'm just like, somebody there is the killer. I know that, whether it's the cop or I didn't really think it was the sergeant. I thought it was going to be the cop, and it turns out the lead detective on site, and it made you want out to be the red herring, because he seemed so insistent, like, we have it under control, and I totally thought that it was just trying to be swept under the rug,
Yeah, that's definitely what they wanted you to think, that it was the main guy. It was you're the one that you want me out of here because you did it and all that stuff. But it did it really well. Like, I was happy with how it sort of unfolded, whether the actual deduction of all the things that he picked up on are plausible, sort of. I mean, that's kind of the stuff that you get in a mystery. You're like, oh, this guy has a red smudge on his jacket, and that only happens from lipstick from this whatever, and that's why if they do like these little things, and I really do like those, whether this is plausible that he could have figured it out because of the things he presented, whatever, it doesn't matter. But like, I really did enjoy the way it went through it. It was like, okay, here's what happened, and then here's how the mafia would have killed him. And the one little slip that I didn't catch was like the main one. I'm like, oh, I'm stupid. I should have caught that. He was like, oh, they shot her again a couple times to make it look like, and I was like, what the fuck? That's crazy.
Yeah, how do you know for sure that all three shots didn't happen at the same time? You made that complete assumption and conclusion
and that was so good. And that was enough to be like,
and then the whole idea, like, yeah, show me your gun. And the whole idea, it'd be really hard for 3 bullets out of a state issued firearm to just come up missing. Where'd those bullets go if you never fired them? Like, that whole idea is just like, oh, it's really good at delivering it as the punchline to the whole intrigue.
Yes, definitely. So like, coming off of the last 4 episodes and what I remember from them, and me being like, okay, I want to see where it goes, because they are this agency and I want to see them work a little bit more. And now we know that Atsushi is this ultimate thing that they can just pull out, and he has like regenerative abilities or whatever. How do they handle other situations and them handling this mystery where it's not about pure power, it's about like a real live thing that could happen, and they're a detective agency, so seeing them use their detective abilities was really cool. I do want to talk about Rampo because it's the first time that we see him, right?
Mhm.
And when he powers up and puts on his glasses, bro, I was like, let's go. I don't know
Uh-huh.
why. It was just so good. I loved it.
I do also really like the reveal because it shows Dazai like behind him just kind of like smirking in that moment too. And
Uh-huh.
I love when shows do the thing where it shows a moment recontextualized later where it's like, oh, it looked like I was just standing there watching him, but actually I was just like grabbing his hair.
Mhm.
Because then I'm sure he's not able to use an ability, and that's just hilarious. That's just funny character writing.
Yeah,
Just
it
like
was
that's exactly how Dazai would do it. He'd be like, I'm just gonna
me.
pinch his hair back here. He didn't make it anything super obvious, and he reveals it Tatsushi as like he should have already known. It's like, oh yeah, you didn't know. I forgot. It's like, of course, Tatsushi doesn't know.
Yeah,
Everybody,
stupid.
like you said, was just glazing him in the office. Like,
Uh-huh.
did he have any reason to yeah deny it or
Yeah,
whoa words
question. Yeah.
question it? Yes.
Yeah. So I did like, it does end up Rampo does end up deducing that the killer was Sergeant Sugimoto, that he was gonna kill him or shoot himself because he was under um the weight of this diet member that had helped him join the police force. So he was in his debt and he had to do some shady stuff. And it's like I like the way it all, other than the powers part, other than them all having like powers and then Rampo not having powers, it's all set in real life. Like it feels real, and it's really cool that like, well, this does happen. This does happen in real life now.
Especially with we got a huge buff to firearms this episode. Apparently, we're
What do
like
you mean?
a full clip from Uzis in the first few
Oh yeah,
episodes appeared
yeah,
to just
yeah, yeah,
brew
yeah,
somebody
yeah.
up, but now it's like, oh, 3 gunshots. Oh boy.
I
Oh.
forgot about that part because Tanizaki does come back. He's like, "What's up, guys? Whatever, I'm chilling."
And the reveal later that we get that their doctor can only bring people back from fatal injuries like kind of makes it make sense in a way, but still it's just like
uh
we got
didn't
a
make
huge
I didn't make the connection. I totally forgot about them. I was like, whatever, they did magic to revive them. But yeah, it does make sense because of what we see in episode 8, because what
yeah,
she revealed how her power, thou shalt not die or
exactly.
whatever.
So that's how
Um,
that power works. So it makes
yeah.
sense in a way, but then again it's like, so then why aren't we bringing her to the shooting that just happened? Like,
Yeah.
or I don't know. Is it what are the clauses? But it's fine. That's not what we're here for. We're not here for a super core and
No.
structured magic system. We're here for the characters and the dialogue, which is really good. I don't know
So
if are,
good.
are you watching this in subbed or dubbed? Did we talk about that
Subbed.
last week? I'm watching
Watching it
it in
subbed.
subbed as well. And I was thinking, going back to grab the screenshots for these four, like somewhere along the way, it crossed my mind like a lot of the comedy in this show might do better if it was watched and dubbed, because this is a very dialogue heavy show.
Especially
And
with Dazai, I feel like
yeah,
his comedy would
honestly,
be the way he speaks or says things.
exactly.
Um,
It's not that it's not funny. I just feel like, we've talked how sometimes watching it in your native language could enhance comedy because
yeah,
of delivery and stuff,
I
versus
wouldn't mind
reading it.
trying. I'll try
Yeah,
the last 4 or
same.
one of them if it's not great. I'll just be like, "Okay, I'll switch back."
Okay.
But yeah, I'll try. I'll start off trying and see if it's better in English. But this was a very cool episode. I like the
Mhm.
way they did it. I like this little Sherlock Holmes thing. And from what I, knowing now, just going into episode 6, like I like this format. I want the sort of monster of the week detective story with these little guys. Now that I know them, now that they're past most of the big silliness that we got in the first 4 episodes, I'm cool with them just doing detective stuff and then figuring it out with the whole port mafia overhead and them just doing their job. I'm cool with it. Like I didn't think I would because of what we got last week, but I'm down. Um,
Especially if we have a rotating cast of characters
yeah.
that can be used interchangeably off the back of Atsushi and his overarching progression. It makes for a really interesting dynamic that, can be, even if it's in an episodic format, can do well watching it as a part of a larger story.
Mm-hmm.
Does well on its own, and as the grand story hopefully comes together in the end, which it might not at the end of the first season because there is so much more out there. But even if it doesn't, because of the way it's formatted, I feel like it's going to be satisfying either way.
Definitely. Let me see here. I don't know why I uploaded them wrong and I put them as backgrounds. Oop. Let me do something real quick. So, yeah, let's get into episode 6, the Azure Messenger. What happens in episode 6?
So a lot happens in the next 2 episodes, so everyone's gonna have to bear with me. This episode focuses on Kunikita as he reviews everything that is included in his journal before arriving at headquarters, where Dazai is tormenting Atsushi while under the influence of mushrooms. Kunikita enlists the help of a hacker as an informant to help with a case in a string of disappearances, and the hacker provides photographs of the victims that lead the team to an abandoned hospital where they discover the abduction victims. The first victim pointing out the rest just as a death trap is activated, taking the lives of everyone inside, then going on to slander the agency, using their raid as the reason for the loss of life. Kunikita is able to deduce that his hired cab driver was actually the one performing the abductions, using and posing as the victims, checking into their hotels to cover up for their disappearances. With the discovery that a larger organization is behind this, the Port Mafia show up and put the team on the run until the police force arrives, them handing over the driver. Their driver's information leads them to the building where the Azure King self-detonated, the Azure Messenger using the space to put together a new bomb and leave a threat behind for the agency.
Again, I really like this episode. I think it was paced.
A lot of reveals.
Yeah, a lot of reveals. I think it was paced well. I didn't know it was going to be a
Yes.
two-parter, really.
You get this Kunikita arc.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed this episode. I was like, this is really good. I really enjoyed all the stuff. So there's disappearances. They go on to their next detective adventure. Disappearances in Yokohama. There's an anonymous tip. And then we meet a new character, the cyber network warrior, Taguchi Rokuzao, who I really liked. I love that they always just have the computer hacker
archetype.
Yeah,
the mastermind hacker.
The hacker dude that's in some secluded area with wires and computer screens, and it's just a little weird. I don't know if that's a real fish behind him. It's in a real fish tank, but just one bass. Like,
I'm pretty sure at one point he's like, I have to take care of my tropical fish.
Yeah, like what the hell, dude?
I mean, it makes sense. I bet that fish tank is water cooling all of his computers.
Oh, that's good. I like that. I like that. So we get like this little cast of characters because it's fun. Like I don't watch a whole lot or hear a lot of superhero stuff. Like I watch like the main Marvel stuff, but like the stuff that I've seen from Batman when he's actually being a detective, and especially in the Robert Pattinson Batman, when he's actually doing some detective stuff and it all came together in the end. Like I love that.
The Batman Arkham games kind of coined the whole detective mode, where it's like your vision changes and it's like you see all the contextual objects in your environment and everything that can be interacted with. And that's how I imagine these guys. They each have their own form of like a detective vision. But Rampo, yeah, he's just got screen sheets. He just like can see it visually, just the exact steps of what to do.
Rampo's behind. Everybody secretly
else just sees the things.
Rampo is secretly behind everything going bad here in this city because he's
could just stop it all. Hey Rampo, we have a problem. Port Mafia.
Yeah.
Glasses on. Problems solved.
But going with that, I do like that we're fleshing out. We have the main cast of the agents, but where do they get their stuff from? And I love that they introduced two characters here: the messenger, who, or not the Azure messenger, the driver as well. So we got the cyber sort of network warrior, the way they said his name was, Taguchi, and then we have the driver that they use for information. And it's like, okay, this makes sense. They have people on the outside that are doing a specific kind of work, and they help them out. And I really like that they put some thought into these characters. I mean, they became very important.
Yeah,
but
exactly. That's the thing with the shows like this that I'm coming to discover, where it's just like anytime even a questionable side character gets introduced, like they are being given screen time in this show with very limited screen time. They have to be drawn in somehow. And like, I don't want to immediately just think, oh, that's actually the Azure messenger. No, it's actually that person. No, it's actually that person. But it's like everybody becomes a suspect in shows like this, and it manages to use that concept in interesting ways, where it's just not flat out pulls mask off. Oh my God, they're the bad guy. It's like, yes, I was doing this, but
all this other
stuff. Exactly. And that's what keeps it interesting for me, where it's like usually the twists aren't the initial concept of the twist and reveal might not be the most revolutionary, but it's all the context that comes with it that is usually like, ooh, okay.
The fun part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then
because
the plot thickens.
I'll tell you now, I didn't call that twist at the end of the next episode. I did not call it at all. And I was like, huh? What? Here we are.
He was the only survivor of. Hey, never mind. We'll get there.
We saw her. Okay, Sasuke Nobuko, who we're talking about here in.
Can I spoil some of it real quick? No, don't spoil anything. we're talking
chronologically.
9, and we're talking about 6 right now.
Up to episode 8.
Up to episode 8. Sorry.
Yeah,
we're talking up to 8 today.
I was like, oh shit, didn't watch an episode. So Sasuke Nobuko, who was rescued there, we saw her get rescued. She was gonna drown, quote unquote. She's a lecturer at a university in Tokyo, and there was a video camera, like you were saying, video of them doing this whole thing, and they blamed it on the agency. And they were like, what the fuck? What's all this about? But we do find out that the driver did the abductions, that there's secret black market for organs that he was going to help out. He abducted the people. And I thought this reveal was really cool. Too. The way that they're like, they were all roughly the same height. And I'm like, that's not even something, if I was trying to kidnap somebody, that's not even something I would think about. That he was like going around getting the same sort of people in the same height, look kind of, and going on screens. I was like, oh, that's so good. What a good bad guy. But we got him, folks.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Can I spoil some of it real quick? No, you cannot. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. He confessed and was put up to do it by someone. The Port Mafia ends up shooting the cab. Also, did not expect the Port Mafia. They're like, oh no.
Yep. He's like, so I was like, well, this isn't good.
Yeah. Dude,
that's great.
I'm loving.
I mean, that's core, like, writing with, are things, because we had a lot of long-winded explanations and reveals right there, and the whole concept, are things getting a little boring, add an explosion. And sure enough, like right as it's getting a little, like, just stringing us along, boom, explosion, flashbang.
Yes. Hello, everybody watching on the live chat. Sorry, we would like not to be spoiled. This is our first time watching, but I see you. Appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out. We're talking about episode 6 right here. One thing I do got to know about the show, which is helping me and brings up the intensity, like the way they switch stuff sometimes is really fast, like in this moment, but it comes with just this frantic jazz music that is just so good, with just crazy saxophone sometimes whenever stuff's popping off, whenever it switches really quick. And I notated this in this episode and then episode 7 and 8, I think. But every time there's some epic movement, the music matches it, and there's just saxophone, like upbeat drums just going crazy, soloing. And I'm just like, oh, this like adds to the what are we doing? What's going on? We got to get moving. And I love that stuff.
I didn't pick up on that at all, but I'm going to be sure to like, be keyed in on that for the next 4.
Yes. Whenever gunfight or they're about to jump into a fight, it's like just going crazy. And I love it. We get, I think it's the first time, Dopo Poet flashbang. So we can confirm that you are right, that I was very wrong, that Dopo Poet ability does not just turn into a grapple gun. It is whatever he can. Well, he explains it later on, but he turned it into a flashbang in this instance. And I was like, oh shit.
Shook my fist in the air.
Yeah.
It's like, yes. Yes. The power system guess was right.
Yeah, you got it. Definitely. I'll give you that one because I did not. I was just like, it's just a
I was just thinking, that can't be it. There's got to be more to
that. Char said, read the manga low key. How many manga volumes are there? Because I always see it, and then I see that there's like another Bungo Stray Dogs other series of it. So I definitely have seen it at the store. I am a manga reader. I wouldn't mind checking it out. If it's a lot, then I don't know. Oh, they have an omnibus. Is there a Bungo Stray Dogs omnibus? Because I'm a big omnibus fan. Akutagawa shows up. This boy, love him as a villain. Craziness shows up here, and the way
bro used environmental effects. He pulled.
Like we're playing D&D.
We're literally playing D&D. He pulled a. I wasn't aiming at you.
Yeah, actually, I was not aiming at you. Let's see. Bungo Stray Dogs, Beast, Dead Apple. There's a lot. They go on a bunch of adventures. Wow, didn't know. I've only seen.
Was the Bungo Stray Dogs the friends?
Yeah, but I love Kunikita. And I love this moment where he's like, boom, shoots behind him, shoots the water, and then he pulls out the stuff. I don't know why.
I was like, what's he gonna do with the stun gun?
Exactly.
Like it got me.
I don't know if I'm dumb. Yeah, okay. This helps the thought that I'm not dumb. But every time they do something, I'm like, wait, what are they gonna do? And then they do it, and I'm like, oh shit, okay, why am I not catching on? But he pulls out the stun gun, and I'm like, bro, what are you gonna do with that? Like it was all little. Like if you're gonna have like a stun thingy, I thought he would have like a prod, but then he had the stun gun. I was like, what are you gonna hand-to-hand combat this man?
Yeah,
and he fucking throws it in the
like eat the space between the two of them, eat the stun gun, whatever. That's how I felt about his gun initially too. I was like, he's using that gun on defense because he can't even shoot it. And then I hear the gunshot, and I'm like, why are you even shooting? Then all of a sudden he's soaking wet. He's pulling out the stun gun. And I'm like, what are you doing? You made him wet. You got a little
wet
zapper and tosses it into the puddle. And even though it didn't seem to phase
Akutagawa
initially, like it had him like just sitting there for a solid 2 seconds, hard CC. All I'm saying. He was locked down.
Yep, locked down for 5 seconds. And that was insane. He just went, there you go. Bzz, craziness. Jenna says, manga versus anime differences from these episodes. Azure Messenger arc is actually Dazai's entrance exam test that takes place 2 years prior to the main story. Atsushi's not even there. Oh, that's cool.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's cool. As in, like, if I wanted to read the manga, it would be different. It wouldn't be like the same thing that I saw. Because sometimes I'm like, I don't want to read this. I already saw it.
Exactly.
But that's cool. I didn't know that. So we find out more information about the Azure King, who blew up buildings. He blew himself up at the end. He blew up the father of the cyber warrior that we talked about earlier. So Kunikita sort of feels responsible. And I love all this story. This exposition doesn't feel over the top. It doesn't feel like they're talking too much. Like it feels fine and it feels earned. And here we are, sort of following Kunikita a little bit because he's one of our main three, and we get some more information on why he was, just being nice to Deguchi a little bit, and why he sort of feels bad or something, and we can't really pin it down right now. But now we have this new case for the agency to defuse a bomb, and it's a 2-part episode. And I was like, yo, I'm here. Let's fucking do it.
Stage is set.
The stakes have been sizzling.
Are cooking.
Yeah. Steaks are sizzling right now.
There are steaks on my plate, and I'm happy.
I am. I'm like, wow, this is pretty good steak. Episode 7.
Pretty good steak.
Episode 7, Love for the Disease Called Ideals. What happens in episode 7?
The stage is set and the conditions are clear from the president of the agency. Discover who the Azure messenger is and disable the bomb. Kunikita attempts to enlist the help of Rokuzo, and he is firmly denied. Sasaki, the victim that was saved before, explains to the group the history of the Azure King before Rampo calls in to reveal the location of the bomb, the location of which could cause a large-scale chain reaction. The team rushed to the location of the perpetrators, which is remote to the location of the bomb, and the disarm key is broken in front of Kunikita, him swapping positions with Dazai just as they seem to be outmatched by their enemies. Kunikita replicating the key and disabling the bomb just in time. Sasaki and Kunikita share a moment of reflection on loss before Sasaki is revealed to be the Azure messenger, and the Azure King was her lover. Rokuzo shoves Kunikita out of the way of being shot and delivers several shots in retaliation to Sasaki, her lover being the one to take his father away.
Brother.
He bids her good riddance.
This might have been my favorite episode so far. So instantly, they just set the table a little bit by changing something familiar to us by not giving us that intro. They start it, they're sitting around the table, and I'm like, oh, this is different.
If I'm not mistaken, the last episode didn't have an outro.
Yeah, I don't remember.
It just cut to credits instead of doing the animated outro.
Oh, okay.
If I remember correctly.
I would just beep. Next episode. But whenever they do some, like, this is so little.
The formula.
Yeah, this is like so little. Like, this is not a big deal, really. It's like, okay, let's just take the intro out. But like, in context, when you're looking for something and you don't get it and you're like, wait, what's this? This is something new. No intro for this, breaking up the format, and we're in danger for this one. Everybody's like, bro, the people are gonna die and we're gonna get blamed for it. And that's not good. Rampo's gone. Our boy's gone. They made a point to be like, Rampo's gone.
He's not here right now.
Yeah.
We're trying to contact him, but he's not here.
So stakes are high. Stakes are sizzling still.
Gojo Satoru is not at Jujutsu Kaisen High right now.
This is peak reaction. Thank you so much, bro. It was insane. So they are fighting for the agency's existence and pride. Dazai, there's some funniness in this episode too. They can't get away from it. Dazai tries to set up Sasaki and Kunikita, but Sasaki finds him a little bit too much when she reads the book, his little notebook. And we find out the bomb was set in a fishing tackle store. Again, the way they're breaking up what you think should happen with one person getting the phone call, and then they all get the phone call, and then he stops the car. We get the 3 faces, the 3 eyes with them on the phone. I'm like, ooh, this is a choice. Like, I don't know why. It's not the greatest animation.
No,
but like the way they break stylistic stuff,
Yeah.
the stylistic choices that they've been making. I'm like, okay, let's do it. I love that.
Again, it's stuff like that does make me curious to like potentially read the manga, because you wonder how much of that is drawn directly from it that paneling and those types of choices, those stylistic choices, whether or not they're being ripped from the manga, or like did they make that for the show because it's something that's happening in motion, so it's not always something that can be portrayed on a sheet of paper.
I definitely think that was written for maybe they had some allusion to it, but I really do think that was written for the anime to make it interesting and move a little bit. And I mean, the sound design is really good.
Mm-hmm. And
I
it's like
feel,
it definitely it like adds to this like feeling, for me at least, that like even if the animation itself isn't getting better, it's just the context of the situations are
Mhm.
like gradually climbing and making me more invested gradually in the events that are happening on screen.
Yeah,
Again, where initially it was just kind of silly, like we have dealt with a bomb threat before, but the bomb threat ended up being, just his little entry exam for Atsushi, basically, with him jumping on it. But now it's
yeah.
like we're dealing with real
Now
bombs
every
and real booms. So it's like now we feel a little bit of tension, a little bit
yeah,
of, again, stakes are on our plates.
because yeah, I can see Atsushi being like, wait, this one's real, or is this another test
But
here?
we already know, because of that situation, that is going to, even though he doesn't really, again, it might go with the whole manga versus anime difference brought up, that Atsushi just kind of feels like he's playing a backseat to Dazai and um, Kunikita,
Kunikita.
because like in the earlier episode, the first episode of this two-parter, it keeps getting emphasized, like, how are they a partner? Like, how are they partners? How
Yeah,
are these guys partners? How are these guys partners? But by the resolution of the second episode, it's like, oh, like
dude.
because they're so different, they are so perfect to be partners. They
Yes,
cover each other's where each other is like lacking,
they meet each other
basically.
in the
Yeah,
middle somewhere.
exactly.
Vanny, I appreciate it. I love the fact you're actually breaking it down and talking about it 10 out of 10 live. Yes, we are. So yeah, we do this every week. This just so happens that this is the second week we're talking about Bungo Stray Dogs. Next week we're going to finish the first season and we're going to rank the anime on where we think it's going to go. We have a ton of anime that we've done so far, so we do this every week. You can help us pick a brand new anime. These are the animes that we're going to pull out randomly. But yeah, this is our second episode of Bungo Stray Dogs. We have a previous one if you want to check it out, but we're going to do one more of Bungo Stray Dogs to finish the season next week. So they all receive the calls. Again, super stylistic.
Yeah.
Love that. The driver died. The driver dies off screen, kind of, and he gets the numbers on his palm. And then they go into the big fight stuff. So we have the number on Kunikita's hand, which is 39, meets the culprit of all these bombings, sort of. Somebody that is of interest here. They have these remote abilities, and the first thing, they have the remote abilities, and then Dazai and Atsushi are fighting some just big strong dude, really. And these fight scenes are kind of dope. Like
They're well choreographed.
I have all of these like mixed feelings, because I feel like if I watched this show and I gave it the 3-episode rule on my own, I probably would have stopped. Like I probably would not have continued, just because the first 3 episodes are like, it's a little too silly for me. I don't know, man. But then now that I'm here because we're watching it for the show, I'm like, it's really good. So I'm like pleasantly super surprised that I'm really enjoying these fight scenes. Can we talk about, where is it? Here it is. Brother, the switch. They switched up on him.
Switch was when I was convinced, for sure. Because I'm
Oh
watching it and I'm
my
like,
god.
I'm like, there's something's gonna happen. Like obviously they're about to do something that's gonna get them out of the situation. They're gonna save the day because the show doesn't end at this episode.
Sure.
So I know something's gotta give, and the way they're able to pull that off, again, bringing it full circle back around to the whole how are you two partners, and then in that moment the question is answered. That's why they're partners, because they're able to adapt to the situations on the fly, identify problems, and be able to overcome what seem like, overwhelming circumstances and odds using the intuition and the rules that they know that they can technically break, which is Dazai can cancel out anybody's power, isolate the power, isolate the problem. But first, we need the key. In order to get the key, I need to see the key. He showed me the key, and he seemed shocked. He seemed shocked at first, like, oh my God, he has the key. But with context of the whole episode, he
played into my hand.
Exactly. It's like we just met our win condition, and now we just need to execute.
We just got to figure out how to get this to happen. And they each know. I think it was Dazai that called down to him, and he's like, I know. Like, I know what we got to do.
Yep.
It's kind of like, because I'm in Star Trek right now. I'm watching a lot of Star Trek. And it's like whenever something bad goes on and then they're like, switch to maneuver Omega A6. And it's like, oh, fuck. One, how many of those do they know? And then two, like, oh, he has a thing for this. He has an answer for this. So that was them, Dazai and Kunikita, working so well together, it being pulled off really cool. They know each other's strengths, even though Dazai gets on his nerves a little bit, just a little bit. There's no denying that they work so well together. And I really like this to showcase, like, because even me, because of what Atsushi is kind of putting out there for the audience to be like, why
it seems like they can't stand each other.
Kunikita hates this man. Like, why are they here? But it's just so cool. We get more information about the Dopo Poet ability that allows him to recreate anything he set his eyes on. And if he understands the form and function of it, he can recreate it. So that is the key we see here. But the size is limited to the size of the notebook, bringing ideals to life. So it was really cool. I really liked it. Why was everyone talking about Sigma? Oh, Jesus Christ. Vanny said, I'm subscribing definitely. This is amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. The cyber warrior takes the bullet for Kunikita in a play that I did not expect. This whole thing, my mouth was open because one big moment, we get Homie taking the bullets for Kunikita. Sasaki reveal that she was the one behind it, that she had her significant other, who was the Azure King, who did all that stuff. He had ideals that he was he had conviction for. And then Dazai knows what's going to happen. And he's like, drops the gun. Boom. Fucking Homie gets his revenge for his father. And he knew it was going to happen. This whole thing is just really good. Everybody last episode there, and I don't know, I'm speaking for myself because I don't know Matt's opinion just yet, but like everybody last episode that we talked about Bungo Stray Dogs were like, this is amazing. And I was like, okay, maybe they just like it because of the really cool and funny, quirky characters. But now I'm like, it is pretty good stuff.
I think with these two episodes, the show gets taken from like good to great territory, in my opinion. So far at least, we get into some just really, really satisfying setups and payoffs.
Satisfying.
That's how it feels for me to watch. Where again, even if I know that, like, somebody amongst the cast is gonna have to be the culprit, gonna have to be blah, gonna have to be whatever. There's gonna have to be an answer. It pulls it off in a way that doesn't feel like it's just pandering to the audience. It feels like you said it already, like everything, all the reveals, they're all earned for sure.
Vanny said, I gotta go. I'll definitely be back next live. Yes, we are live every Thursday at 7 p.m. And if you miss it, you can go to our Anime Hour Pod YouTube channel. It's just the YouTube channel by itself. It's in the description, and you can check out all those videos there or on Spotify. We got to get going. We don't have a whole lot of time left. Episode 8, teaching them to kill, then to die. What happens in episode 8?
Dazai is approached by a mysterious girl and goes missing from the agency. No one seems to be alarmed by this, however. Yosano, the doctor at the agency, drags Atsushi into accompanying her in running errands, and Atsushi passes the girl that Dazai was approached by. Yosano scares off some weirdo in the street with her own brand of weird, and examining Atsushi's leg, she is fascinated that it was able to grow back so quick. A bomb threat is made overhead, asking Atsushi to turn himself in. Atsushi and Yoshino split up to find the bombs and encounter port mafia resistance. They take quite a beating before being able to turn the tables on their opponents. Atsushi able to command part of his power through strong will. Izumi, the girl in the robe, seems to regret her actions with the port mafia, which Dazai is currently being held by.
Oof, leaving off on another sort of cliffhanger because now we don't have Dazai. But Tanizaki is back, which was just okay. Here we are. We get a shopping trip with Dr. Yoshino, and Atsushi passes the same girl that Dazai was seen talking. She was handing over the phone, or she picked him, or something like that. Someone is taking over the train. They are there. It's really interesting because now we're getting like. I love that we have enough characters where we have Atsushi sort of interacting with all of them at different instances. And I like that now because it seems like the agency is really powerful. They took down the Port Mafia when they, went to try and take them out or whatever at their base. The detective agency seems pretty powerful, but now we have like our own little things that are keeping us from being at full power, which is really cool. That now we have Atsushi and Yoshino just by themselves. Now we just have them two. So like, how are they going to figure this out? How are they going to get through it? Hello, Cosmo. You know what else can take it? Oh God, I didn't read that. What's up, Shadow? Hello. We're talking about episode 8 of Bungo Stray Dogs right now. I didn't read it. I knew you read it. I saw you laughing. I didn't read it yet because I was talking. Anyways, they're passing. The train got taken up. What I was saying was like they're setting themselves up to be like, okay, how are they going to handle this situation?
Yes.
We know that these guys are super powerful, and we got Rampo, and we got a bunch of other people with really crazy abilities, but now we have to still bring in stakes, and they continue to make the stakes feel real and unattainable. Like, how are they going to pull themselves out of this one? I mean, within the last one, they were just going crazy about a bomb.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, Jesus Christ, how are we going to figure this one out? So, like, that's how we feel. In this one, Atsushi, Yoshino, are facing up against Kaji Motojiro, who's a known terrorist bomber, and he thinks death is an experiment. Yoshino, with her own sort of brand of fighting, fights Kaji, and the red dress girl's name's Kyoka. I think I got that. But she has a stand ability, which was like, yo, we got another stand user here.
Coolest ability so far, for sure.
Yeah, honestly,
visually at least.
Visually, the coolest one so far, because it's just I thought it was her at first when they were pulling out the sword, but I was like, oh, it's just a stand.
My only question is, how come when she approached Dazai, she was able to activate it when he deactivates people's abilities?
I think they tried to explain that.
Oh, did they?
To where,
because it's used by her phone.
Yes, because she's not the one controlling her own ability.
That's right.
So
okay,
like,
I'll buy it.
I think that's the loophole that they had there. That they're, homie sent Akutagawa sent her specifically to take Dazai because he made this. He knew about Dazai's ability, so he's like, well, let me control her ability, and with her out of control, I don't think Dazai's ability can work to nullify it. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the way they tried to explain it with the whole cell phone thing.
I'll buy that.
Could be wrong, but
no, yeah, that makes sense.
Why are they always make villains such martyrs? On this one, so, them taking over Umber train. Yes, Choo Choo, they took over the train. We get some epic punches from Yoshino.
Bro, she laid him out.
I loved that she would just like knock him further, and she was like, "Oh, I thought it would be further than that." And then she does it again, and she's like talking to him through it all. But before that, Kaji drops a bunch of bombs on her, and then she comes back. She survives, gives the epic punches, and she has a whole little monologue about being a doctor, about she's gonna kill anybody that doesn't value life, that she's probably seen more deaths than he has, and information about her ability that it can heal anyone, even herself. But in order to heal, she has to have her patients on the brink of life. So they
Has to
have
be
to be
fatal wounds.
pretty much dying, bro. So it does
So
explain.
if she's like, if I have somebody that has moderate wounds, I have to half kill them.
Yeah. And maybe that's why
that's why everyone
Tanizaki,
freaks out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she probably definitely takes her time doing that. Maybe
Yeah.
something or other. Something
I
along
don't know
those
what
lines.
she's doing. I don't know what she's doing over
What's
there.
she doing?
But I have a headache. And
Like trees falling on their faces. Exactly. Like trees falling on their faces.
Callback. So we get the were tiger arm sort of thing, where Atsushi finds his resolve that he wants to live and fight for people to live.
Because if he does that, then he has a reason to not die.
Yeah. And I like that. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, it's just, yeah, we got there. It is just a little odd that we have this like super powerful person that we kind of know his ability a little bit, but he's still
nerfed.
He's been in the background for a long time and he hasn't really used his power at all. But
I think it gives him it's like an approach that we've seen before, right? With this person, they are cursed by some demon entity, yada yada, and it's too much power for them to control. So they need to find the resolve and the power, inner strength, whatever it is, to take charge of that power and not let it commandeer them as a being. And I think it gives Atsushi time to develop before we just, have him being able to carry the load. Because if he could, why are we having him team up with people in the first place?
Yeah.
So it also gives the reason that, like, hey, we need to mentor him and he needs to be, with all of these different members of the agency in order to come into his own.
And it's super fun. I, again, like him pairing up with different people, even though if he's just standing around, kind of. I like seeing all the other people kind of work around him. Cosmo said it's giving My Hero Academia a little bit. Man, I haven't seen My Hero in a while. I kind of want to get back into it. I don't think they have any omnibuses of My Hero. I wanted to read it, but too many parts.
Womp.
Like I said earlier, the person on the phone didn't make sort of an off switch, although you just turn it on, and she's unable to control her own ability, and she decides she does not want to kill anyone else, and Atsushi saves her at the last moment. That was an epic moment. I love the...
Yeah, I thought she was going to jump out, and I was like, oh, she gone. And then he used his power. He was able to, like, utilize more of it to jump after her, and then I was like,
yes,
that was my out of the seat moment. I
so
was like,
good.
Okay, this is where I was sold for sure.
That's My Hero.
And also just that moment of her, like, we don't know this character that much. We've met her this episode. She might not see her after this episode.
Says the same three things over and over.
Says the same three things outside of the fourth time she says it, where it has a different context. But they animated her really well in that moment where she said that. I'm just saying, like, I was like, whoa, like that was like borderline. I was like, that's almost as impressive as
the Fortress,
Iron Cabinari of the Iron Fortress.
Yes,
yeah, where I was like, that was just very beautiful.
Same brain, because
I was able to capture.
I was hoping, yes, because I was going to bring that up too.
We're literally on a train too.
Yeah, literally same brain. It gave me fucking Cabinari. It gave me Cabinari vibes real quick. Just in that they switched back to her and literally just a different animation style for those frames, and I was like, what the hell? It just like super random, but it looked really good, and it. Again, on the train as well, so it gave me Cabinari vibes. But yes, okay, I'm not going crazy, because like I was watching and I was like, what the fuck? Like, it just instantly got so much. They spent an extra $2,000 on these little frames. I was like,
Those 20
yo,
frames.
it was really good. But as soon as she saves her, we got to figure out what we're gonna do with her. And then Akutagawa was the one on the phone, and he has Dazai captured. So we have that. No Dazai. What's gonna happen? We have no idea. So good. Nami waiting for Chuya. Who
are you people?
Who are you people? We don't know, but we're going to
new
continue.
names today.
2 new names today. Hopefully, we meet them in the next 4 episodes, because next Thursday, we're going to be talking about episode 9 through 12 of Bungo Stray Dogs. So keep an eye on this channel if you want to watch live, or if you want to check it out on Spotify and all that stuff. Speaking of Spotify, we have our Spotify creator wrap. So we put this anime show up on Spotify, and you can watch the videos there if you want, if you're in the car or on the way to the gym or something like that. And for this year, we have some really cool statistics for the show that I wanted to show. So the JulesTheHuman Anime Hour is in the top 20% of videos on Spotify. 18 to 24, 25 to 29 is probably our most there, and even up to over 55. So we have anime brings everyone
together.
In 2024, plus 218% listeners, 91% streams, and plus 80% followers. We can't see any really statistics on who follows, or like, I can see like your gender or your age, but I can't see like, it doesn't give me like names or anything. So I don't know who you are, but thank you so much for watching on Spotify. And here are our final things. We have their follower growth. And for 4 people, we are one of your top podcasts that you listen to on Spotify. So for 4 people, we're up there. Somebody somewhere in the ether are listening to our podcast consistently. So thank you so much.
If that showed up on your app, tag us.
Yeah, I want to see it. Yeah, if you're like, if it shows up on your Spotify Wrapped or whatever, just let us know. That's pretty cool. So thank you so much for all the supporters. That was our Spotify Wrapped. There was a bunch of other stuff, but these are the pretty cool ones. What? Don't read this out loud. Just call me a baguette. Oh no. Never mind. I was gonna get to Spotify. Never mind. We like Spotify. If you use it, that's cool. I'm using YouTube Music now. Matt, when you're not the Bungo Stray Dog we met along the way, where can they find you on the internet?
You can find me on my YouTube, where we also host this stream at Matt_Galley, or you could follow me on Instagram and Threads, where I just be posting whatever.
Just be
at it's Matt_Galley, professional shit poster over here. Jules, when we're not here commandeering the detective agency, where can the people find you?
You can find me on YouTube, youtube.com/JulesTheHuman, or on Instagram, JulesTheHuman, JULES, the human, and on Threads. I've been posting a lot on Threads about my Star Trek journey, because we've been watching a lot of Star Trek, and I just be posting, man. I really like Threads. Don't use Twitter anymore. Threads is pretty dope. So I've been on Instagram, Threads, and on YouTube. You can also follow the podcast YouTube channel. It's just Anime Hour stuff. If you don't want to watch live, you can watch later on. It's Anime Hour Pod. All the links to everything will be in the description of the video if you're watching on YouTube. Just Anime Hour Pod on YouTube. You can also check us out on Spotify. I think I got us on Amazon Music now, so we're on Amazon Music /Audible, so you can listen to us there or watch us there probably. Will Jules and Matt move to Blue Sky? No, I do like Threads,
but like, yeah, I kind of just am on Threads, not really on Blue Sky. Even though I made one, not on it.
It's a lot. I just like Threads because
platforms. I'm barely on the ones that I'm even on. I'm just reposting stuff. I'm not actually doing anything.
We don't even stream anymore. We're just podcasters. But next Thursday, if you want to watch it live and talk to us about it, same time, 7 p.m. Central, we're going to be looking through and talking about episode 9 through 12 of Bungo Stray Dogs, and we're going to be ranking it. There will be a link to rank the anime, because your votes count as well on where we should put it on this list here. We have S through F, and where do you think Bungo Stray Dogs should land. I'll put the link in the Discord. I think my Discord's still linked to my YouTube. But you can message us if you want the link for all that stuff. But you get to vote as well, and we'll see where this anime lands for the final ranking. So
I'm feeling like we're gonna be pretty top heavy for the end of the year.
Pretty top heavy, but that's okay. I'm fine with watching.
I'm fine with that.
Fine with watching really good
I'm okay
anime.
with everything staying at the top all the time. I have no problems.
I really hope yes, it stays that way. But yeah, that's the end, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.